Hi, fourth grade. It's Mrs. Cobble, and we are working on measurement this week. So, this PowerPoint is basically broken into two sections. The first couple slides are going to show you approximate lengths or widths of particular units. And then the last couple slides are going to show you actually how to convert. So, let's get started. It'll make more sense once I show you the examples. But do turn on the volume and leave it on the entire time so you can hear me explain as I go. All right, before we go any further, you'll see that I included a piece of the star chart in here. And really, that is so you have all the conversions. We do not expect you to memorize all of this. You can pull this up anytime you need to know, for example, like how many millimeters are in a centimeter or any of this information. You can always come back to it. Okay, so the first piece, this is all about length. So I just copy and pasted the length conversions right here. This has customary and metric. So customary, those are the miles, the yards, the feet, inches. That's a little more what we're used to here in the United States. Metric, you'll see a little more overseas. So that's kilometers, centimeters, and so forth. This anchor chart below gives you an example of about how long each unit is. So for example, an inch is about the length of a paper clip. A yard is about the height of a chair. A millimeter is about as thick as 5 sheets of paper. So as you can imagine, that's pretty small. A centimeter is about the width of your pinky, and so forth. So anytime you need to reference, okay, about how big is that, you can go back to this chart. All right, the next two pages are going to look very similar. I've just taken a different section of the chart. So this is volume and capacity. So just to reiterate a little bit, liquid volume, capacity. Remember, capacity is the maximum amount a container will hold. So we've broken it out into customary and metric again. Customary, we're used to hearing a little more here, gallons, quarts, pints. You can see my examples here. Gallon, like a gallon of milk. Pint, like a pint of ice cream, one of the smaller containers. A quart, and so forth. This gives you a little bit of a frame of reference as to how big it is. For metric, milliliter here, it's a little hard to see this picture, but it's like taking a drop of something. It's not very much. Liter, think of like a 2 liter of soda. And then kiloliter, we won't really use that, but that's included in my picture right here. The next slide goes through and it shows you weight and mass. Again, this is the last section of the star chart that you will need right now. But this, again, gives you frame of reference as to how big it is. Customary, more what we use here in the United States, tons, pounds, ounces. So like people, we usually weigh ourselves in pounds. So you'll see the example here. A ton is like an elephant. And then ounces, like a slice of bread. It's not as much. Over here, you'll see the metric mass. Mass, the amount of matter that something contains. So this gives you an example for grams, the dollar bill, kilograms, larger animals. So notice on the chart, though, on all of these, it always goes from large to small. A ton is way larger than an ounce. So the higher it is on the chart, the larger of a unit it's going to be. It's the same thing over here. A kilogram is going to be larger than a milligram. And so that's something to keep in mind as you go. Okay, so a lot of times we may be faced with a situation where we need to convert. In this case, we said, okay, well, if we have 2 yards, how many feet would that be? Well, if I was to look back at the chart, I would find that 1 yard is 3 feet. I wrote that here, but you could literally go back to that chart I showed you, and it would show you the same information. So this time I need to know 2 yards. Well, I know if 1 yard is 3 feet, that's this visual right here, then 2 yards must be 6 total feet, because 2 sets of them would be 6. 2 times 3 is 6. So you can see my answer, 2 yards is 6 feet. A lot of times in 4th grade, it'll help you to do these type of diagrams and actually draw it out. Here's another example. All right, so this time I'm asking myself if I have 3 liters, and if you forget like what L stands for, go back to the chart and look, it'll tell you. 3 liters is equal to something, so many milliliters. Okay, if I was to go back to my chart, I know that 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. Okay, so that's my visual here. Whoa, by looking at this, I can already tell there's going to be quite a few milliliters. So for every liter here, there's 1,000. So 3 times 1,000 would be 3,000. It's going to take a lot of them. Milliliters are small. So there's my answer. 3 liters equals 3,000 milliliters. Okay, so thinking about what we've done, I want you to go back, grab some scratch paper, and I want you to try to figure out if I have 4 quarts, how many pints is that? I just wrote this here just so you had it, but again, it's straight from the chart. 1 quart equals 2 pints. Pause, I'll give you a minute, and then we'll go over it. Okay, if you are not finished, go ahead and pause. So to answer the question, 4 quarts equals blank pints. Okay, well I know 1 quart is 2 pints. If I have 4 quarts, 1, 2, 3, 4 quarts, if I go down here and break it up, there's going to need to be 8 of them, because 2 for every group, there's going to need to be 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. So this kind of gives you a visual as to what it's going to look like. I didn't write this all the way across just because I thought it'd be a little hard to read. Okay, so let's move on. This is very, very similar, but there's one slight change, and I'll show you in just a minute. So this time, let's say we have 24 inches, and we're trying to find out how many feet that is. So if I was to go back to my chart, I would find that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Okay, inches are smaller than feet. So this time we're going from a smaller unit of measurement to something larger. So it's the same thought process, but okay, there's going to need to be less feet. Because if there's 1 foot, that's 12 inches. Oh, I only have 24 inches. So if I have 2 groups of 12 right here, 12 plus 12 is 24. That gives me 2 feet. So if I was to take 24 inches and divide it by 12, I would get 2. So 24 inches is equal to 2 feet. Let's walk through another example. Okay, so the last example I'm going to give you, 5,000 milliliters is how many liters? Chart info, exactly what you'd pull from the chart. 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. Okay, so if I know for every 1,000 milliliters, that's a liter, then I'm going to draw out 5,000 milliliters. Here's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 all combined. So if I match that up, that's only 5 liters. So 5,000 divided by 1,000 gives me 5. So to answer, 5,000 milliliters is equal to 5 liters. Now I want you to try before we let you go. Here's your turn. So if I have 24 fluid ounces, how many cups is that? Here's the chart information. 1 cup is equal to 8 fluid ounces. If you'll just press pause until you're ready to keep going. Okay, if you have not finished doing it a little practice on your own, pause it and play when you're ready. Otherwise, let's go through this together. So 24 fluid ounces is equal to so many cups. Okay, there's 24 fluid ounces. Well, I know that 8 fluid ounces is a cup. If I do 8 plus 8 plus 8, that gives me the 24. So that's where I'm getting, there's a cup for every 8. That's going to give me 3 cups. Another way to say it is 24 divided by 8, because there's 8 fluid ounces per cup. So that gives me 3. 24 fluid ounces equals 3 cups. All right, so fourth graders, realize that right now it is completely fine for you to draw it out like this. Completely fine. If you have any other questions, let us know, but I hope this helps. Thank you.